For most people today, potatoes seem harmless. They are one of the world's most beloved foods, mashed, fried, baked, roasted, or turned into chips. They feed billions of people and rank among the most important crops on Earth. Yet when potatoes first arrived in Europe, many people viewed them with suspicion, fear, and even disgust. Some believed they caused terrible diseases. Others claimed they spread leprosy. In certain regions, people refused to eat them altogether. A food that would eventually save millions from starvation was once considered dangerous enough to avoid. So today we're going to find out why potatoes were thought to cause disease. Let's find answers to that right here on History of Food. The story begins thousands of years ago in the Andes Mountains of South America. Long before Europeans had ever seen a potato, indigenous peoples in present-day Peru and Bolivia had been cultivating the crop for over 7,000 years. Potatoes thrived in harsh mountain conditions where many other plants struggled. The Incas developed dozens of varieties and even created methods to freeze-dry potatoes, producing a food called chuno that could be stored for years. Everything changed in the 16th century when Spanish explorers arrived in the Americas. Along with gold, silver, and countless unfamiliar plants, they brought potatoes back to Europe. The newcomers expected excitement over this remarkable crop. Instead, the potato encountered a continent deeply suspicious of anything strange and unfamiliar. Part of the problem was appearance. Potatoes grow underground, hidden from view. Europeans were accustomed to grains, fruits, and vegetables that developed above the soil where they could be seen and harvested openly. A knobby, dirt-covered tuber seemed odd and even unnatural. Some compared potatoes to misshapen stones rather than food. Their botanical family did not help matters either. Potatoes belonged to the Nightshade family, known scientifically as Solanaceae. This family includes several plants that are genuinely toxic, including deadly nightshade, a notorious poison. While potatoes themselves are generally safe to eat, Europeans often associated them with their poisonous relatives. To many people, the connection alone was enough to raise alarm. Religious beliefs also played a role. In some regions, people argued that potatoes could not be proper food because they were never mentioned in the Bible. Since the crop was unknown in the Middle East during biblical times, no scriptural references existed. To some religious communities, this absence created suspicion. If God intended people to eat potatoes, why weren't they mentioned in sacred texts? Perhaps the most persistent accusation was that potatoes caused leprosy. This belief spread widely during the 16th and 17th centuries. The reasoning sounds bizarre today, but it made sense to many people at the time. Potatoes often grew into lumpy, irregular shapes. Some tubers developed rough surfaces marked by spots, cracks, and blemishes. Observers noticed a superficial resemblance between these potatoes and the skin lesions associated with leprosy sufferers. In an era when medical science was still primitive, visual similarities frequently shaped assumptions about disease. This idea was reinforced by a popular concept known as the Doctrine of Signatures. According to this belief, God had marked plants with clues about their effects on the human body. A plant resembling a body part or disease symptom was thought to possess related properties. Since some potatoes appeared scarred and deformed, many concluded they must somehow cause skin diseases. There was no scientific evidence behind the claim. But for centuries, belief often carried more weight than experimentation. The potato's reputation suffered further because people occasionally became genuinely sick after eating it. However, the culprit was usually not the potato itself, but improper preparation. Potatoes naturally produce compounds called glycoalkaloids, including solanine. When potatoes are exposed to sunlight, they can develop green patches and higher concentrations of these chemicals. Consuming large amounts may cause nausea, vomiting, and other symptoms. While serious poisoning is rare, early Europeans had little understanding of plant chemistry. Cases of illness reinforced fears that potatoes were dangerous. Throughout much of Europe, potatoes were initially fed to livestock rather than people. Farmers might give them to pigs, cows, or other animals while reserving traditional foods for human consumption. In France, some regions viewed potatoes as suitable only for the poor, prisoners, or farm animals. The crop struggled to earn social acceptance. One of the most important champions of the potato emerged in 18th century France. His name was Antoine Augustin Parmentier. As an army pharmacist, Parmentier had eaten potatoes while imprisoned during the 7 Years' War and discovered they were perfectly safe. Determined to change public opinion, he launched what might be considered one of history's most successful food marketing campaigns. Gradually, attitudes shifted. Governments recognized that potatoes could help prevent famine. Farmers embraced their high yields. Families discovered their versatility in the kitchen. What had once been feared as a disease-causing oddity became an essential staple food. Ironically, the potato eventually became so important that entire nations depended upon it. Nowhere was this more evident than in Ireland, where the crop supported millions of people. That dependence later contributed to the devastating Irish potato famine of the 1840s, when a plant disease destroyed harvests across the country. The tragedy highlighted not the dangers of eating potatoes, but the dangers of relying too heavily on a single crop. Today, the potato is cultivated on every inhabited continent and serves as a cornerstone of global agriculture. Scientists understand its nutritional value, including its carbohydrates, fiber, vitamins, and minerals. The fears that once linked potatoes to leprosy and other diseases have long since been discarded. Yet the story remains a fascinating reminder of how people react to unfamiliar foods. History shows that fear, superstition, religion, and limited scientific knowledge can shape public opinion just as powerfully as facts. A crop that now feeds billions was once regarded as a threat to human health simply because it looked strange and came from a distant land. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. Thank you for watching.